This has nothing to do with anything. It just makes me smile. Transparency is king. We're in a relationship, we is. I'm in your homes, your bedrooms, and especially your toilet breaks. I've seen the repercussions of your Taco Tuesdays, also known as Wet Wednesdays. Let's chat. Let's lay it out. Look, I'm gonna pull the veil back. I'm gonna let you get behind the scenes and inside my head on the thought processes and where we're going in these interesting times. Tech is changing. People are changing. What is the future of this hot mess that I'm doing? Share some stuff that's been really hard, videos that haven't worked out, ideas that were dead ends. And my plans for the future, which I hope you don't think are egg-flavored dog farts. I want to open up some different kind of vids. I want to keep things fun, but only with your permission. I promise we won't run ogre time. First off, I feel like I owe you folks a bit of an apology. I've been a bit doom and gloom at times. It's not really a great time to be a tech tuber. The last 2.5 years have been, just really bleak. I really just can't help but kick off and push back when I see stuff I don't like, especially from companies that already have so much. My background's blue collar. I was wearing high vis before I was allowed to. I was mixing concrete at age 15. I had a forklift license before I had a car license, so I know what it's like to get up at 6 in the morning every day to shovel dirt around. And a lot of big tech companies are gigantic and just take everything. But then also, it's not really a good move when, people come to this channel to get away from such things. We're all dealing with it. Why remind you of it again? And things are quite touchy nowadays. Everything's turned into a political thing. People saying that I hate capitalism. No way. I'm successful because of it, not in spite of it. But you should also be allowed to complain about something that you love. But ultimately, my goal is just to get back to having fun, stupid, casual goofing about. No more complaining, as much as we all like to. And annoyingly, just how good the views are when you do complain. But hey, let's talk about the state of DankPods vids, and let me open up to what I've noticed in the last 6 years of doing this. First thing, no one cares about iPod videos anymore. Hey, look, on YouTube, a video lives and dies on its thumbnail and title. No matter how good the content actually is, people won't click on it unless, it grabs them at like a first glance. It makes sense. People's time is so valuable nowadays. And there is someone else out there making something exceptional. So if you're watching that video, you're not watching my video. But then that's true of every single activity. Everything costs time. Hey, I've still got brand new iPods in the box, and any times that I've opened them up, they do pretty mid. And they are very valuable things to me. They're only new once. You can really only unbox a new iPod once. Even if you get another one, people don't want to see it again. On the iPod arc of this channel, the original arc, I took them as far as my untalented musician brain could. Up to having 4 terabytes in one, filled with music until it RAM crashed, which is 50,000 songs, because when you hit shuffle, it has to order them all up, and then it runs out of memory and goes, 4 terabytes in an iPod is a heckin' video title. Just random tinkerings with them isn't. So I told you we were gonna get behind the scenes. We're in beloved garbage time, and up back here, see these? These are my beloved nugget cupboards, my nug cubs. Step around the brake cleaner, step around the shattered remains of Mr. Scoots. These hold all of my vintage nugs, right? I like to keep these secret. I don't know, it's more fun for like the channel where like you don't know what's coming up. I promise you. Oh Jesus, what happens when you look down a lens? There's crap in here. What is this? Oh, you don't need this. Junk. Oh, it's a nugget avalanche. Oh, precious nugget dip nugs. There's even some microphones in here. Oh, so many mobile phones. They've all got strange photos on them. MP3, MP4? Just one cupboard, there's another one. Next nug cub. Yeah, huge stashes of old iPods. Bits of iPods. Of course they're in New Balance boxes. I'm getting old. iPods. Sealed box of these original earpods, because the day they stopped making them, I've got them. Oh, James asked you not to put stuff in front of my... and this one has bunches of ancient mobile phones. Some of them even good ones. Ooh, the mini media, ew. And look, I know a complaint is that I don't do iPod videos anymore, but I just have to be honest here. If I didn't diversify away from iPods, you know, this channel probably would have faded away. Garbage time wouldn't have happened, which wouldn't have led to James' channel. Drum thing wouldn't be happening. The views were starting to go like this, you know, because I'd already taken iPods really, really far. If you look at all my most popular videos, they're mostly like modern headphone videos. Earbuds, Bluetooth stuff. Yeah, basically the modern version of portable music. And honestly, that's where nearly all my growth came from. That's when the channel really went. That's how things go on the internet. You know, the current thing is what everyone's gonna rush into. I don't mind growing slower if I'm doing stuff that I enjoy more. And I've, you know, reviewed so many Bluetooth stuff that I'm kind of done with that category. It's, but yeah, got plenty of old nuggets to pick from. Hard part's finding a title and thumbnail that people could care about. Like, how do you sell this? How do you sell this to anyone? How do you make this interesting? Don't know how to do it. Not unless I do like a nugget clear out or like do like a big compilation video with them. Individually, it's a bit of a hard sell. Business talk, you gotta find an angle in, and usually I do it through nugget dips. Then the iPod isn't really front and center, it's just part of the mystery of the dunk, and that's the draw. Something to notice, people think that I'm a tech repairer. I'm not. I'm a jazz musician who couldn't afford Spotify. I can't solder ICs, I can't put connectors on things. I can replace bits with dedicated connectors and screws in a fun, annoying way. Anything more than that, that's James's bag. But I still have an insane stash of iPods, new, used, all of that. But at the moment, people aren't that interested in them. Hey, I know it'll come back around again, and I'd rather save them for that moment. Leading up to this channel, no one cared about iPods. They were properly in the bin, and then they swept up again. And now we're going up, and down, and we'll just wait for it up again. Then I'll pounce once more. They're like a fine cheese aging in a damp cellar. Gotta wait till it's the right kind of moldy. Next thing I've noticed, no one cares about headphone videos. They are often my worst performing videos, unless I look at new AirPods or some noise cancelling Sonys or something which I'm not really interested in doing anymore. I've reviewed so many sets of Bluetooth headphones, and they're always my least favorite to play with. The Bluetooth device is being connected. I'm on my third set of AirPod Pros while owning 50-year-old headphones that still sound epic. But they have a cable and they need a dedicated amp. No one wants that. And companies love Bluetooth anythings because they will die and you will need another set. You don't make billions selling a good item once. And high-end audio is just so out of reach for people. You could have a nice set of mezes if you add up how many Bluetooth cans you've thrown out, but then that means you'd have to have no headphones for the entire time that you're saving up. So that analogy in the bin, that doesn't work. Headphone-wise, I do have some hilarious vintage ones. There's only so many of them to go through, but unless they're freakish or have a strange philosophy, most people just don't want to hear it. Audio is getting pretty figured out. As I said, I've got 50-year-old cans that sound amazing, but what we've really done is get the power draw down, where instead of needing an amplifier the size of an air conditioner that can't leave the room, they plug straight into your MacBook Air. Or Neo. Next thing, no one cares about Linux videos. I've been working hard to find new tech video angles, and it's got to be an angle that I can personally get behind. Otherwise, I don't want to talk about it. My big Linux Olympics video, that bombed out. What a bad investment. Keeping my ear to the ground for over a year on where computers have been heading, months worth of work went into that thing, and no one cared. I know that video was heckin' long, but it was as short as I could make it. It was 2 operating systems, 12 machines, 6 games while showing all the receipts with the purpose of comparison. Silver lining is nearly all that stuff was secondhand, bought before the RAM-apocalypse. And so if I needed to recoup it, I could. A lot of those machines are gonna have purposes. A lot of them are quite historical for PC gaming, same way of holding onto your Sega Mega Drive, because 10-something years later it's gonna be fun to talk about again, and that's what I'm really focused on, is having stuff to talk about in the future. Business talk, how I'm trying to structure things. I try to think of 3-month cycle videos, Kashi specials, nugget dips. They don't need specific titles, but a running theme, and then I can slot in other topics in between them in the lineup. You can't do those every week or even every month. You gotta let them breathe. I did nugget dips every month last year, for a little bit, and it just killed the magic. People just got completely dialed out. I was hoping the Linux Olympics would be another. Every 3 months we check in and see the progress and how they're going, but no one cares. And it is a miserable amount of work to do. Any tech reviewer you see doing GPU benchmarking, My goodness, you better appreciate them. I have so much respect for those channels now. Maybe if I had a big gaggle crew of employees behind me who could be running benchmarks and check, but it's just... Oh man, I'm at peace though. For me, I don't mind if things don't work out as long as I tried. And I tried, and it didn't work out. Not like people hated the video, just no one bothered to click on them. Live and learn. Ain't that right, Shrotch? On the topic of, how people react to stuff, anytime I bring up, Linus Tech Tips, there's some people who get really mad that I'm having anything to do with them. I'm wearing their track pants right now. I just did a collab with Zip Tie Tuning. I'm huge fans of them. I've known of them for like a decade. To hang out with like Andy and Alex. I was just starstruck the whole time. And then there'll be some comments like, you're in cahoots with Linus, even though we're hanging out with people who have since left Linus Tech Tips. Well, look, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to just get really mad at me right now. I'm gonna be in like 2 LTT videos coming up. It's why I went to Canada. It's not just Linus, but the whole LMG crew. I get all my news from Riley, and like in the offices, they set me up a table so I can do my own workout next to Riley. That was, for me, I was like, it's Riley. Jamie and Adam have the Vinyl Verdict podcast. I've done a thing with them. That'll be coming out at some point. Adam Sondergaard took me to Bianca Amor's liquidation center. All the parts are currently being shipped as we speak. I've bought so much stuff in Canada, we had to like FedEx it over. And I couldn't bring the samurai sword home with me. I didn't know for $39 it'd be made out of metal. I didn't know that. Me and Luke hung out for like 6 hours having curries and hot chocolates. He took me to a Walmart. Again, heaps of stuff coming in. Dan Besser. I was down for the Wowland, and he was there. And I gave him the MP5 player, the car-mounted MP5 player from the Kashi special. That's with Dan Besser now. He was setting up for WAN show, and I said, oh, that's a nice pen you're using. He said, no, it's your pen that you're using. This is Dan Besser's WAN show pen. Me and Bringus were hanging out at the Whaleland, which led to our visit with the Bin King. I'm a big fan. I've been watching their stuff for over a decade. And being a part of their videos, everyone was cool as heck. It was so much fun, as uncomfortable as I am being on camera. And people saying that I look like someone's dad from the 80s. I am pushing 40, so it's time. But anytime I bring them up, it's like, I've seen comments of people saying, I'll never support Wade on Floatplane because, Linus will get a cut of it, and so, F the both of them. I have a huge debt to LMG because of Floatplane. I never brought this up. I had a horrible time on Patreon. I just kept it cool and didn't make a fuss about it and just ripped away my largest source of income that I've never seen again since. I suffer from anxiety. A big part of why I'm just not on camera. It's just easier. I was having meltdowns trying to deal with that platform and no tools to control it. If you wanted different channels on Patreon, not only did you have to use different emails, you had to use different PayPal accounts. It was a nightmare. You see how many channels I got nowadays? It's just undoable. But I sent humongous emails to them begging for changes and controls, to the point where I feel embarrassed for the stuff that I was sending them. But they never did anything. Anything they promised, it kind of went nowhere. I've had counseling. The stress was insane. The earnings I was making through that could pay all my bills and then some. YouTube could just... and I would be fine. And I gave that up just to be happy.
Well, that's the thing about anxiety, is that anxiety, stress locks you up, it freezes you. And something that I wanted to do more of was to make more content that was available to everybody. Even though I make heaps of paid content, I still think that I've achieved that as well. Like, all the gaming videos I've done, I'm so proud of them. Every single one. Not many people check it out, but every single one I'm so proud of. They're all edited to the same degree. Garbage time got more regular, right? I remember at the beginning it was like once every 3 months we'd get one of those vids out, and now it's almost weekly, but sometimes not. I mean, I've been on holiday, New Year's, whatnots, but way more garbage coming out. And the biggest time sponge amongst all of this, which sucks because people can't see anything coming out of it, is getting ready for the return of the drum thing. This is the thing that I'm the most passionate and everything about. This is me. This is who I am. This is my actual identity, is as a drummer. Look, they've all got their proper drum heads, so they're all the legit thing. Yeah, drummers? Those are hydraulics. Production has begun on this stuff, but the hang-ups that I keep getting is that I was actually hoping to be able to use the same microphone settings for all the kits, and no, that doesn't work at all. What works for like an early 90s set of D-dubs doesn't work for a set of World War II Slingerlands. and it's just so much, and so often I gotta drop tools on this and go work on the channels that actually kind of pay the bills. This is my passion project thing. I had to find piles of music that I was allowed to license and actually play on YouTube without massive issues, and then learn all those songs. That's what I've been doing for the last 7, 9 something months, is learning all the repertoire and working on back-end infrastructure stuff, like finally getting proper internet here, because when I was first trying to do it, it was going to be $30,000 to run actual internet into this building. It's come crashing down in the years. Could finally have it again. That was a big hang up with the drum thing, was just endless technical issues. And yeah, behind the scenes, I've been working on it heaps. Yes, the streams are only going to be on Floatplane, but that's going to be like catching the taping, being in the studio audience, but the end result will be free to everyone. And so much of this was just getting rid of the stress of Patreon and just having that off my shoulders and out of my mind, so I can get back to doing what I want to be doing, which is just making stink loads of content. And I really am trying to make as much content as I possibly can. Like, the Dank team is tiny. James is on 2 days a week. My sister helps me with the Floatplane extras. My mum is my business manager, helps out with the receipts and liaising with financial consultants and whatnot. And then all the rest is me. Like the filming, the directing, the writing, the editing, the thumbnails, the uploading. It's me. I do it. So yeah, if it's not as much content as you hope for, I'm sorry. I'm doing my dingleberry best.
I owe Floatplane everything. It could be a little clunky and a little buggy, but it is a tiny platform. Luke, he's the lead and co-founder. We got to have curries and hot chocolates together, just casually discuss, what I'm liking and what I'd like changed and what's feasible and what's on the pipeline. They've added so much for me. All the individual channels, how you can actually go into notifications and select, what do you even want notifications for? You want to hear nothing but the Frank stuff? You can do that. And then I love that for one payment, you get all my content in one page. All of it. They offer live streaming, and it's just so nice. Yes, drum thing live streams are coming back, and doing it through Floatplane, sure, it doesn't go viral. I'm not going to be, dropped in by T-Pain again, which was wild when it happened, but it's just peaceful. 3 years deep on Patreon, I was pulling my hair out in an anxiety spiral of doom. 3 years deep on Floatplane, and I want as many of you to come in as possible. I'm emotionally in debt to LMG. It's at this point I want to beg you all to keep supporting people on Patreon, right? It's working for them. Having a means of support that's not to do with sponsorship and it's people-powered, it's a really good thing. If it sounds like I'm guilty for being an LTT fan, it's how some people make me feel. Even Frankie's been watching for stinking years and years. I don't think she knows where she is. And people have many reasons to not be a fan, right? I'm not going to discredit that. Getting to work with Linus in a video, dude was awesome. He was so nice, so much fun. He took me to Boston Pizza afterwards. Please consider Floatplane and keep supporting people on Patreon. Please. Frankie begs you to. That's a lie. She just wants more quails. You're banned from quails, Frank. They make you too chunky. Something that is making these videos, kind of hard. Our favorite stuff is disappearing. What stuff? Ancient nuggets. It's like oil now. Once you've dug it up and burnt it, it's gone. The further we get from 2005, there's less things there are to talk about from back then. I mean, what's the current attitude? We'll own nothing and be happy, which means there won't be much to talk about retroactively from this time either. I mean, look, there's still stuff. It's really fun seeing the Xbox 360 being 20 years old, despite the fact that you can still play GTA 5 on it. Most people are buying stuff from, Temu, AliExpress, eBay, but then that's the stuff that will get handed to secondhand stores later. Long gone are the days of getting hardwood furniture for $50, particle board for all. Cashy specials are at risk for this. If no one's buying cool stuff in the first place, then it won't exist anywhere else later, I mean, look, this is stuff that I'm dealing with, but what's on the horizon? I'm talking about things being fun again, then what the heck am I doing to make it fun? Can't be this, holding Dan Bess's pen. Oh wow, that fits perfect. Oh, okay, I like this. Well, people love the nugget dip, and so do I. It's just so much fun. I've been adding more categories to the nug dip. There's going to be a talking sand category. talking sand. I've got the motherboards lined up. You know, I've got old RAM, which I stocked up on, which is funny that DDR3 is even going up in price. I bought it all forever ago. I have so much talking sand. Linus Media Group's procurement team has helped me ship so much crap from Canada. You know, Bianca and Moore and Walmart and all sorts. Again, rip to that samurai sword. Gosh, I wanted to attack the donkey van with it. And before people say that, well, you should have just done it anyway. We have knife crime issues here in Australia. We have locations you can get rid of your knives, so it would not fly. Next video I want to do on this channel, the Great Canadian Snacking Adventure. You have stuff that we don't have. I'm a little overweight. I like to snack. This was stuff I was able to have in my luggage and bring back here. Yes, customs knew about it. But yeah, I hit up a 7-Eleven on the day of my flight and just big bag of crap that I haven't had before. I mean, I have had these before, and you know, I love them, and it's actually a shame we don't get them here. It's like barbecue crossed with salt and vinegar. What a vibe. More Australian culture stories like iSnack 2.0, which is still here. You'd be surprised to know we have our own history down here. New headphone videos are hard work. I still keep my ear out for something that, you know, grabs me and I want to talk about. But as I said, I do have a heckin' stash of freakish, hilarious vintage ones. I'd like to talk about weird old software and games that I've got. But yeah, I've got an army of computers going all the way back to the Apple II. Like, you know, actual having the software and putting it in kind of stuff. There are some games that I actually like to talk about on this channel. More of like a documentary sort of thing rather than just a 100% complete thing. I do have a big bucket of Temu AliExpress stuff. You know, the last video I did, that was just this much of a huge thing. You know, like, as I said, when I do things, I tend to stock up massively. There is an ethics issue because it's just e-waste, but then there is also a twist of, by me showing you that nearly everything you buy on those platforms usually winds up to be kind of crappy, there's like 1,000 people not buying on Temu and whatnot. So, I don't know. Yin yang. I mean, there's Canadian snack foods and things. What about Australian snack foods and delicacies? Like, while I was in Canada, I was hankering for a pasty, and no one had any idea what I was talking about. Doing nerd stuff that has nothing to do with electricity or the internet. I have so many Warhammer 40k miniatures and telescopes. And that's just a quick brainstorm. I have no issue yelling about anything if you have no issue about listening to it. So, like, I'm always doing my best. So if my best isn't what you hoped for, you know, I hope you will support me on Floatplane, even if it's just for me. You know, I hope you found this insightful of what's going through my greasy head to do this kind of work. And here's to feeling good all the time. And that's it. Thank you so much for supporting me. There's so many videos over there, you know, with this Frank and police shows and car stuff and snack stuff I'm doing already. You know, I tried Jiffy Pop for the first time, and like a mad idiot, I did it inside the hotel room. I made sure to take it off the stove before the smoke started. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Here's to heaps of fun vids coming up, and you know what, mate? I'll see you all next time. Yeah, I don't think she likes it. She likes the floor. So look on the floor, Frank. It's a rental. Yeah. Not really. We don't want to stay on it. It kind of fights, Frank. You can tell it's not designed for noodly ones. Where you going? Frank, you're doing a lap. Frank's doing a lap. Aren't you? Oh. Look at these incoherent scoots she does along the floor. Oh. Oh. Oh, no. Is it? Oh. Frank doesn't like the beanbag chair. It's official. Hammocks, yes. Beanbag chairs, no.